Haunted House is a remake of an old Atari game of the same name. The gameplay is simple. You just need to navigate the dark house looking for the exit to the next part of the house. However, oftentimes your routes are blocked by locked doors, ghosts, or animals that just love to attack you. When you have no light to help you, all you can see is a pair of eyes as your character. I thought that was a cool little throwback to the original game, and a very clever idea. When you acquire some light, you'll actually see your character. The game makes it a bit easier to walk around in the dark by having lights over every doorway, so you don't really need to use a light to get around, but it sure helps. There are all kinds of things that'll let you light up the room. Just some of them are matches, torches, lanterns, or even cell phones, because everyone can relate to using the light of a cell phone to walk around a dark room once in their life. You'll get these items by searching objects in the room that are searchable. When you get near one, an indicator will show up, and then you just hold the A button down, and a few seconds later, you'll find out whatever was hidden in that object. In the early parts of the game, you are somewhat limited in the amount of light sources you can acquire. The main one that you'll find are the matches, and those don't last very long. Later on, you'll find some really useful light sources, like the lantern, which will stay on for very long periods of time. It did get a little bit ridiculous at times, with the amount of light sources that were hidden in the house. There was one part in the game where I just kept finding cell phones. Why on earth are there so many charged up cell phones in this house? Now, since you can only hold 2 objects at a time, that meant that you would have to leave some objects and pick them up later. So you would need to be a little bit picky on what you would bring with you, especially in the later levels, when the lanterns that put out different colors were introduced, and you would need to switch between them in order to access secret areas. It was a bit strange, though, to see your character just casually leave lit torches on a wooden floor in an old dusty house. Does he not kind of see the obvious fire risk in doing that? You will search through couches, drawers, or just pretty much anything that could hold something to find the multiple keys that will be needed to open the doors. You know what? Whoever owned this house before was insane. How could he ever get around in his house? He has keys locked behind secret doors. That has got to be one of the most inconvenient houses ever to live in. You'll keep doing this for a few levels, and then you'll have to go up against a boss fight. They were normally pretty easy, and you just had to figure out the puzzle of the room to beat him. And after you beat him, you'll have to start on a new set of rooms to try and find your way out of. There are quite a few save spots, in the form of a fireplace. It got a bit silly though. How many fireplaces is this house gonna have? I counted at least 15 of them in the first part of the game alone. It does get challenging later in the title, but at that point in the game, it does get a bit monotonous, because it's basically just the same thing over and over again. Now, there is a 2-player mode that will let you play levels that you've already beat. So if that sounds fun to you, that option is available. Haunted House is not bad, but it's not great either. It's a fun little distraction that you could beat in a few hours. It is worth the $20 that they're asking for it, but I would say rent it, mainly because the gameplay does get monotonous after a while, and the game can be beat in a few hours. So save yourself some money and just rent the game.